I got to go up there and hit now.
Now Aaron Judge has to match that as he makes his first big league at bat. Judge hits one to center field and deep. Going back, Kiermaier, turning, looking, see ya! A monster home run!
Aaron Judge had one of the greatest rookie seasons in baseball history. A season in which he became the face of the Yankees and one of the faces of baseball. We visited with Judge in his native California to talk about his incredible 2017 and how he plans to make 2018 even more memorable.
Deep to left field, going back Cabrera. See ya! He's done it! Home run number 50! No rookie has ever hit 50 home runs in a season.
That ball is high, it is far, it is gone! It is Judgment Day, and here comes the Judge.
Baseball.
He is putting on the most amazing
For those who have no idea what all these numbers mean, I can translate. They simply say that he is as good as they come. When it comes to swinging the bat and striking the flying ball with it, Aaron is extremely proficient. By far better than most. Apparently, he is doing something right. And must know something that most don't. So, let's hear it from the horse's mouth and see what insights can Aaron reveal about striking of the ball.
What are you trying to accomplish in the off-season that is going to show up when you get to the regular season? What are you trying to get done here?
For me, it's just working on the fundamentals, fine-tuning your craft. For me, I get paid for what I do in the box. So for me, it's coming in the cage is a time just to kind of work on some things, get a feel for things, and make mistakes. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is coming in here and getting out all those ugly swings before I actually step out on the field. Just keep building to try to get better every day in here.
You go from hitting 179 in 2016 to 52 homers in 2017. You've told me that one of the adjustments you made was it involved your back hip and remaining anchored on your back hip and staying into your hips. What did you mean by that, and how important was that to what you accomplished?
That was all of it right there. Finishing the season in 2016, I got injured, with the oblique injury and hitting 179. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth, So, talking with my agents, and they kind of brought it to me, hey, we got a hitting guy that has a couple different ideas on hitting that I want you to go check out. So I got a chance to get with Rich Shank, and he pulled up videos. It's like some of my favorite hitters, like Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, and that was a big thing for me. I like to see things and try things out. Big thing for me is really rotating around my back hip, controlling my back hip, because if I can control this. This is where my swing starts, is in my legs and around this back hip. So if I feel like I can control that and it feels that tension, then now when I swing, it's just so quick. It's quicker. And for me, also starting this way, I want to think about my barrel kind of going rearward first, because all the greats, they're not really, their bat's never doing this. If you watch Barry Bonds back in the day, his barrel's getting in the zone back here, staying through the zone all the way through. And when that happens, now my room for error, I got this much room to work with. Like last year, a lot of times, if I'm expecting 95 and the guy throws a 97-mile fastball in the outside corner, and he beat me, but because my barrel's in the zone back here, I'm still getting my base hit to right field. So just for me, it's just a way I like to start off my swing. If I can really work on the mechanics of, staying tight, staying under control of that hip, controlling that hip, and just getting that barrel going rearward first, then I'm just moving to my regular swing knowing that I got all this room to work with. It's just kind of a warm-up for me. Hey, G, can we just go all inside?
You make it sound so simple, but the longer your bat stays in the zone on that swing path, the better chance you're going to have to get a hit, obviously, because even if you're thinking that the guy's going to throw a fastball, but he throws off speed, you're still in that zone. So even if you get beat in that situation, you still have a chance to succeed.
Exactly, and for me, it's quicker. I used to think that, hammering down like this was quicker, but actually going rearward with your barrel, that's the quickest way. And watching, even the old time swings, if you pull up old tapes of Babe Ruth, his barrel's getting in the zone way back here and it's staying through. And, like you said, even on off-speed pitches, I had to be had to be perfect in 2016. You know, if I was sitting fastball and someone threw an off speed, I had no chance.
So in that grainy black and white footage of Babe Ruth, you're watching how long his bat is staying in the zone. That's something that you've picked up on.
Yeah, just watching his barrel, you know, watching how he's controlling his back hip. You know, that's a big thing for me is, you know, I don't want to really have a big, strong, slow swing. You know, I just want to be quick and efficient because quick equals powerful. And, you know, the quicker I can be, the better I'll be.
One thing we noticed that you improved on so much in 2017 was also plate discipline. Pitchers want you to chase stuff that's off the plate, but you were very adamant and reticent about not chasing out of the zone as much. Where did that come from?
It's just confidence in, you know, my swing and, you know, I guess my abilities. That was the biggest thing. You know, I trusted, you know, what I was doing. I wasn't afraid to get behind the count. Even if, you know, he painted 2 good pitches, I was down 0-2. You know, I just still had that confidence and that trust that I could let the ball get on me a little bit and still get off a good swing. So it's just trusting my swing.
Pretty much everything what Aaron has described are the essential elements of the mechanically sound ball striking technique. And, in his discovery, he seems to be guided mainly by his senses, by what feels right and is comfortable to do. Such clues are excellent indicators that the mechanism is functioning correctly, just as pain or discomfort are the clear signs of the opposite. He talks about his legs driving his swing, not his arms and not his wrists. He talks about the quickness of the swing, which is explosiveness, as being the key to controlling his bat, about anchoring his back hip, and then rotating around that anchor. He also mentions bringing the bat in line with the swinging plane, which is always a good idea, because while being swung, the bat naturally wants to go there, and there is no point in fighting this tendency. Even Aaron, strong as he is, can't win that battle. Everything was spot on, and was going so swimmingly, until Aaron began talking about the striking zone, a notion which is certainly familiar to almost everyone, and is taken for granted by millions upon millions of people. At this point, we should halt, and maybe better sit down, because some insolent words must be said. That despite the overwhelming number of supporters, which include not only this Rookie of the Year, but also, I am quite sure, countless other superb athletes, the notion of a linear striking zone is a complete and utter nonsense. It is nothing more than an urban legend with a huge following. But, before anyone gets all worked up about my statement and begins having a seizure, let's all relax, take a collective deep breath, and examine this issue in details. There'll be time for the heart attack later. From the point of view of mechanics, all good swings work the same way. A golf swing, a baseball swing, and a correctly executed tennis swing, in principle, are pretty much the same thing. So, for the purpose of this discussion, a golf swing will do just fine. As a matter of fact, it is perfect. By all accounts, this would be considered an ideal golf swing, and there are many among us who would pay dearly to be able to swing the golf club half as good, not to mention those who would be ready to kill for it. While examining this image, the question naturally comes to mind: where in the world is this infamous striking zone which Aaron keeps talking about? It is certainly nowhere to be found in this picture. If, hypothetically speaking, such straightaway were to become a part of the swing, the only way to achieve it would be if the rotating core, apart from its rotation, would shift laterally at precisely the right moment and travel with exactly the same speed as the head of the club for about 2 feet or so. Then these two movements would be combined into a compound movement and produce the desired straightaway. But this is only a pipe dream. It is easier said than done. Even the robotics engineers do not attempt to reproduce anything that crazy. And as a matter of fact, neither does Aaron. He might talk the crazy talk, and even fully believe in what he's saying. But when it comes down to business of actually swinging the bat, he intuitively chooses to do exactly what needs to be done. He doesn't walk the crazy walk, and for that, he is rewarded generously. Throughout his swing, which is a very swift and somewhat violent event, his rotating core remains steady as a rock. The path of a bat, going at such velocity around a stationary axis of rotation, will be strictly circular. Nothing else is possible, or could be seriously considered. End of story. On these videos, his bat of course is a blur, and no one can really tell what is going on there, which leaves plenty of room for clueless guesswork and wild speculations. So, this simple, schematic animation might help to clear things up. Now, this is geometry. It is not just a figment of someone's imagination. It is anybody's guess. How and why such utterly fictional and preposterous idea could have gotten hold of so many minds, including the presiding judge himself. It certainly requires a tremendous concerted effort to keep it alive and going. But just to be fair, it is not the first or the last, and by far not the dumbest notion which the mankind has ever embraced, in order to be led astray. It all begins in the faraway childhood.
Here we go, elbows up. Everybody turn for your forehand ground stroke. Sit in the chair and pat the Chiweenie. Contact. Freeze. Look at your strings. Are they straight up and down? Can you pick your back leg up off the ground? All right, safety first. Track out and up. Catch your racket. Chin to your right shoulder. Good job. Relax, 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 relax.
I see so many coaches teaching players to hit a forehand like this, which is great for maybe 1% of the population. Most of us, that's going to be a really, really difficult shot to hit, and here's why. With a stroke that goes around your body like this, you have one instant where if you make contact right then, it's going to be a fantastic shot. If you don't, it could end up, 5 courts down. The idea is we want to have a hitting track that goes through the ball and then up. So the best way to describe it, it's like the straightaway on a racetrack. My racket is coming around, my hand is nice and loose and relaxed back here. I'm gonna go through, you see my palm is pointing out to my target. My racket head is really just an extension of my palm. And I'm gonna go through all the way here and then finish all the way up. I'm still getting great spin, but if you notice, from here to here, I can make contact anywhere in this range, and it's still going to be a good shot. I'd rather have those odds in my favor.
And then the rotation stops a bit and we transition into a straight line or straighter line. There you go. There you go. So I have some rotation to the ball. Here I have rotation to the ball. One more. I have rotation to the ball. Now when I'm at the ball, I don't want to rotate away. I need to give the ball some direction. So this rotation and then straight line and then I rotate again. So here's a simple way to visualize how to combine rotation and a more linear swing or directing the ball. And so this first curve that you see, that is the circular acceleration that happened before. So I'm swinging a bit outwards and upwards. And now when the racket comes about here, I need to start rotating with my body. And so this path of the racket is circular, as you can see. And then I need to direct the ball. So I need to go a bit forward with the ball. And then I also made a line here, curved line, because eventually our body does want to unwind or uncoil. So we don't need to play like this and stop. That would be very uncomfortable. So eventually we do rotate again. And so this is where the confusion oftentimes happens, because the player does not see in their mind's eye this swing path. So they either see too much rotational swing path, or they see a very linear swing path, but actually it's a combination. And so we go a bit from circular to a bit more linear. I want to hit the ball there, and then I will of course rotate because my body still wants to turn. It's not natural to stay like this. And that's why you will see also follow through on this side, and that's what can sometimes deceive your eye, because you see the player just rotating. But inside that rotation there is a staying with the ball, guide the ball, and so on. So let me try one shot. And then you see if you can see that. Yeah, so see if you can see that now in my strokes, that there's a circular, straight, and circular path. So of course this same
Of
applies to
course,
the backhand.
the questions could be asked. What's a big deal about a little make-believe notion rattling around in one's head? And what possible harm can come from having an imaginary friend, or even two? Doesn't seem to affect Aaron in the least. And it might be even possible that it helps him. Okay, it very well might. But consider this. There are plenty of good reasons why operating the power tools and all kinds of machinery, while under the influence or in a state of confusion or delirium, is strongly discouraged. Not the least important of these reasons is that the outcome of such activity, not always, but as a rule, turns out to be rather dismal. And even though the flesh and bone equipment does not come with such warning stickers, it does not at all mean that it could be exempt from the profound wisdom which is contained in them. In the final analyses, the concept of linear swinging, taken to its logical conclusion and put faithfully into practice, can only lead to swings such as these. But not those